Okay, so here we are back again talking about information system strategic planning. As I mentioned, when you look at this chart here, these are the drivers that set the IS organizational strategy and then determine the investment that you'll want to make to achieve that strategy. And so these drivers can include new technology innovations. Innovative thinkers would be part of that, right? Change agents, and how the IS organization is perceived elsewhere can be part of it. Now, in looking at table 1.2 here, this is trying to explain how the IS organization can be viewed as a cost center and service provider, right? So you take strategic planning and you divide it into the IS goals as part of your cost center service provider objectives, right? And as a business partner or business peer, or as a game changer, or as the characteristics change, you'll have something then to look back on. So I want to emphasize that no matter how an IS organization is perceived, the odds of achieving a good alignment, this is important to have the strategy at the top level aligned with the managers throughout, is vastly increased. Excuse me. If the IS strategic plan and the rest of the business come together and can talk through the issues to develop the processes and the technologies and the procedures along with them. Okay, so that is a little bit about information system strategic planning. More of that in your book if you choose to use it. Some of the things I'd like to emphasize, though, is that information systems describes those interrelated components that work together to support the fundamental business operations, data, reporting, data visualization, etc. Keep in mind, as we've discussed, that a series of activities that an organization performs to transform inputs into outputs is really part of the value chain in a way that increases value to the organization. We've discussed concepts like the technology infrastructure forms the foundation of every computer-based information system. That technology infrastructure does. And that, that a process describes the structured set of related activities that takes input, adds value, and creates an output for the customer of the process. Just a couple of notes I wanted to touch on there that may help you with your quiz, okay, and other things. So, information system careers. Well, there are many opportunities, right? Information systems enjoys working at a fast pace in a dynamic environment where the underlying technology changes all the time. Is that right for you? You have to decide, right? But that's what you can expect. You have to ask yourself, are you comfortable with meeting deadlines and solving unexpected challenges, right? This is also a good role for a project manager in anything in the information careers skill set, because we take chaos and turn it into order. Do you have good communication skills? Do you have solid analytics skills? If you want to test whether you're analytical in nature, you can go online and search a program called DISC. Agile Project Management uses it, and one of the features is, are you analytical, right? It will help you understand that. And so we want to review the specific technical skills as well along the way, right? Do we have support expertise, right? Even if we're IT or IS, I would encourage everybody to get some project management background in that, right? And so do you have background even in web design or development? Because it's about information sharing. That's really what the web is all about. So it's kind of exciting in that way. Now, You may find it interesting, I think, to learn that technology is one of the fastest growing areas in the U.S. economy. It's probably no surprise to you at all. And that information systems are in high demand. You can do your own search if you go online to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics data and check out the current data as well. So, oh my goodness, excuse me. Here, I'd just like to point out on this chart that computer and information systems careers and science majors, computer information science majors, also work as mathematicians, also work as operations research specialists. So the University of North America has a course in deterministic operations research, helping you solve problems through information systems, right? Very interesting. And so this is project managers, computer people, electronic people, sales people, business, math, computer science, all can play a leadership role when it comes to information systems. So what are those roles? Well, professionals with careers in information systems can work in an IS department. And so you'll work your way up from manager to director, senior director, etc. on your way to VP. Above that would be a chief information officer or CIO, right? And the CIO is going to be the one that employs the IS department or information systems department. And is going to ensure that they have the right equipment and the personnel to achieve the goals of the organization. And so as to be a CIO, you've got to understand a little bit about finance because you'll do budgeting, accounting. You have fiduciary responsibilities with the federal government based on multiple congressional acts passed. And you'll return an investment to the organization. And so all of these can be interesting aspects to take. Now, there's also the software development role, right? You could be a software developer, which this is a creative mind behind the computer programs. Some develop the actual applications that allow people to do specific things on your smartphone, for example, all of your apps. Some develop things that allow you to do specific tasks instead of your smartphone or your laptop or on a video game, etc. It's just a growing field. It's great. I think you'd enjoy it quite a bit. You could be a security analyst, which is probably an entry-level position, responsible for planning, designing, implementing, and maintaining security and integrity of the organization, the systems, and the data. It probably has a manager over it, but it's a good entry role and usually pays pretty well. The system analyst as well frequently interacts with management to define the scope and the requirements for the new information systems that you're using. You're going to have a role in helping to choose the software and hardware and configuring it along the way. So I think that's pretty exciting. Also, programmers convert this program design that's developed by the system analyst that we just talked about, or the software developer, I suppose perhaps could do that as well, into a working program written in one of the many coding languages, computer languages that we use. And so that's what a programmer is going to do this. So to do this well, you have to be able to write code, debug, and test the program to ensure that it's going to operate in the way that you intended along the way. A couple other roles as we wrap this up. Web developer. They're going to be somebody that designs and maintains the websites. There are security features like web application headers that have to be secured. Otherwise, it's a major attack vector for an enemy. So you want to be good at this, right? There's also the business analyst. The business analyst is really great at a couple of things. One, they understand the technology enough to collect all the requirements. Two, they have a good sense of stakeholders, right? So that they can evaluate business challenges and how to resolve them to satisfy the stakeholders. And three, they're really good at helping you set up use cases and actors within an environment and how the program will react around them. So I always recommend a one of those. Now here's general median salaries, right? And you can get updated salaries on Glassdoor and elsewhere. But these are, for some of those career fields, the updated salaries along the way. Okay. There are other IS careers you could consider as well, including consultants. Excuse me. Maybe start your own small business as an entrepreneur, working a niche area, or a niche area, some will say. So become an entrepreneur or a freelance individual along the way. This is really unlimited, and it just continues to grow and grow. Okay, well, I'm going to pause 1 second. We'll come back with shadow IT. Okay, so nothing is a total panacea, though. Let's be honest. So here's one of the problems you will face as an information security manager, and that's shadow IT. Shadow IT is a term that describes information systems and solutions that are built and deployed by departments, get this, other than the information systems departments, right? Outside of, say, cybersecurity. In many cases, the information systems department may not even be aware of some of these efforts. I know people at work that have brought in their own modems, cable modems, to their own cable service and hooked it up and tried to bypass our network controls. Right? So shadow IT, here's why they do that. It enables business managers to quickly create and highly innovate solutions for real business problems. They're trying to do, most people, a good thing, right? That your controls aren't letting them do. Maybe they're trying to build a prototype that will evolve into some future system, right? You should have a lab set aside for that, however. Because shadow IT solutions frequently employ non-approved vendors or software or hardware, and they may not meet your IS requirements or standards for control, and the network can be a dangerous place if not managed appropriately. So there are pros and cons to everything. The next 2 slides demonstrate that. But issues will often arise when a shadow IT solution is going to break the system. And questions certainly will get raised. I would say that if you create your own shadow IT, it's probably a fireable offense, right? That there are reasons the business put those controls in place. Ideally, we'd all love a wide open internet. That would be gold. But it's just not possible if we're going to secure the data that we've been entrusted with. So make sure you review those slides. There's some good information there. I always recommend continuous education. We are in a world of learning leaders. You are always learning, so never stop if you want to be successful and have your dreams come true. Big house in the country, whatever your dream is. So it's important for you to understand that anyone that's going to fill an information security role has to have completed a degree, perhaps, at least some certification. And there are lots of good certifications. And nowadays, certifications sometimes trump the actual degree, right? Maybe application web development, you could get certifications there. The database administrator, business analytics, networking, and security. For example, get a Security Plus certification is one approach. Maybe get a PMP and a project management certification. So that really is it. That kind of wraps up week 1 for information systems. I've enjoyed it. Hope you have too. Good luck on the assignment, and I am online ready to respond. Have a great week.